So they had this contest and they said, hey, make a video about the golf swing shirt and you can win a round with Patrick Harrington.
Padraig, you've been playing great golf recently. What's your secret?
I've been practicing with the golf swing shirt. I believe it's the best swing trainer ever invented.
So I made a video about the golf swing shirt, and then I won a round to play golf with Patrick Harrington out here at Trump National. So I played with Patrick, and he got there, and he was late, and they were like, your tee time's now. He's like, well, I'm not going to play if I don't warm up. He's like, I simply just won't play. But he's like, I literally need 8 balls. I talked to Dana Dahlquist about this on my channel, and he said that he always, you know, he's like me. He's been to like a whole lot of different pros and everything, and had this long journey before he started teaching even. And he said he always like went page by page through the Hogan 5 lessons book and Power Golf. And I think a lot of people in instruction did this, where they would look at all these positions of Hogan and the grip, and then like where he was here and the plane of glass, and then you know, how he would rotate, and then the lag release. Everybody skipped the first chapter though, which was the waggle. And if you really want to understand what's going on in golf, look at Ben Hogan's waggle. It's not in vogue now, but golfers today, they do the same kind of waggle as Ben Hogan. You just don't see it. And I'm not being like woo-woo about it. I'm saying literally. And we did this. We had a bunch of golfers on the Swing Catalyst, and Hogan, when he's there, you actually see it. He moves the club and he steps this way, moves the club and he steps this way, moves the club, and then he actually makes a backswing. But if we had Hogan on the force plate, we would see he goes, actually, he does a lot. He goes right, left, right, up, you know? Whereas if you look at somebody like any golfer that's really stable at the takeaway, like say Adam Scott, you see that same walking pattern.
So what happens is when we walk, it's a spring load and the body's rotating to move forward. So you're actually rotating around your centre of mass, and your centre of mass goes forward. Essentially, by increasing the load and having an ability to push off, we're creating energy.
Okay.
And it's the energy there that we can then transfer through sequence into the club.
You don't see him move, but he still pressures like maybe a little bump right, but then left, right, go, and then the club moves. So before the club has even moved, he's already moved his pressure quite a bit. And that's like one of the main lessons I've learned in my channel that really helps people a lot, that almost every coach now is getting golfers to start out here.
You know, one difference in the two-step swing drills is you have this initial trigger motion, which is throwing the club toward the target first and then bring it back.
Right.
The purpose of this trigger motion is to promote the active backswing. Backswing with your body, using your body, and then also you start the downswing with your body.
What would be like P8. So like imagine, so just take your club and put it into the finish here, and then swing back through where the ball would be, and then continue through, right? So you're at address, you take it out here, and then swing back, and then react to that. This is so bad on headphones. So swing back and react to that. And like people all of a sudden are getting really athletic. And that's the biggest thing now, is trying to get the pressure right. Pete Cowan always talks about, I want you to pressure the ball this way. I want you to pressure the ball that way. And now Patrick Harrington, a guy that I've met and I got to play golf with, he is really big about the step drills. Throughout his whole career, he's always done the Happy Gilmore thing. When I played with Patrick, this is a funny story. So before I had Be Better Golf, I was always like making my own training aids and other stuff like that. And then they had a contest for this thing called the golf swing shirt that my now friend Ray makes. So what Patrick does is he gets out of his car, out of the cart at the range, and he hits 4 Happy Gilmore shots. The first 2 go like horrible. The second 2 go perfect. Then he hits some wedge shots to like a 50-yard green, and then he says, "I'm ready." So he thought he needed 8. He took like maybe 6. And then he played great. He shot 72 at that course, just goofing around with us. And it was like so easy for him. But what Patrick has done, he's always done the Happy Gilmore thing. He's always known that the steps and the flow of it are important. Now that he's gotten older and he's even faster than he was when I met him. When I met him, he was 45. Now he's 52. And he's even faster. Now he's taken that step that was always in his swing, but you didn't see it. Now he actually steps. And that's one of the things, the video he just came out with. He says, like, if you can't step and swing and hit the ball, that means that you're doing something else that's wrong. And that's something that I talked to a lot with Marcus Bell, another instructor, who said that everything you do is walking.
So you're balancing out the rotations, but your body's essentially, your body is spring loading. And so we've got these mechanisms, we've got all the components we need for a golf swing in the gait cycle.
Like, any basis for anything athletic you do is walking. So really the walking gait is the same kind of thing you would put into your swing. And learning this is a lot like learning a new dance more than anything else. And that's why Xander Schauffele, Dana Dahlquist, Dr. Kwan, Marcus Bell, all these teachers are advocating step drills. It's like step drills is like the biggest thing now, because it's the #1 way for people to learn how to get some pressure and flow into and athleticism into their swing. It's really good. But you have to like still hit like the sweet spot that's like this big. So it has to be a balance. I OD'd on it way too much when I first met Dr. Kwan. You would see my swing would go like almost like Kyle Berkshire when he was doing his stomps. I was moving so much that, hey, athletically, like the slow-mos of it looked great, but I was missing the sweet spot. So it has to be this walking rhythm, but like well contained, so you can still do something that's like super precise.
On the topic of homemade training devices, I just saw you out there. You made a javelin of sorts. I see you all the time making gizmos and doohickeys to improve golf. How many of these have you made, and are any of these going to come to market
right
for the average viewer at home?
Maybe they will, but probably not. The cycle that happens is I'm having some problem in my golf swing or something that doesn't make sense to me. So then I go, I have like, I'm pretty creative. So like, I'll have like an idea. So then I'll go to Lowe's or like the hardware store, and like, I'll start like picking things apart and like put together something to help with this. So like I had something for the posture. I made probably like 80 of these things, and I still have most of them. I've broken many of them. And the kids always get it. My kids always get a kick out of it because they're like, I'm Rick Moranis and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when I'm like putting this stuff together. The dad from Gremlins, this was like an archetypal character in the 80s, like every movie had. But it's just because for some reason, for me, when I'm trying to go through a concept, me making the training aid and something to specifically help that will help the thought process of what I should be doing, and then using it as some too. Like you meet so many teachers who hate training aids, like golf teachers. They're like personally disgusted by training aids, and I think some of that is they just don't like seeing people put their instruction allocated money towards something that's not instruction. But it's just like maybe like a prideful thing or something. But the thing about a training aid is, let's say you're working on something. You're working on the motorcycle move. So you're going to use the G click or I'm not sure what it's called. Or you're going to use something, or you're going to use Greg Norman's secret or something like that. The thing about the training aid is when you put it on, now your mental attention is on that. Whereas if you were just thinking about it and you were hitting balls, as soon as you start slicing it or chunking it, you're going to be thinking about that other thing and just chasing your tail. You have this thing on, it's like a physical reminder to do, Sean Foley's new thing or something like that. It's a physical reminder to be like, hey, stay focused. This is the thing that you're working on. So yeah, I've made a lot. And I have one thing that I made and then I showed to Dr. Kwan, who's this really big golf scientist, and he loves it. And he uses it all the time, but it's the high tech kind of top secret thing that I made. And but then like you make this thing, and then he's like, well, I know some guys in Korea that can put this together, really cheap. But then like it never makes any progress. So I always make these training aids. I have them. I keep them secret because I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I'll bring this to market or do something with it. That is such like a difficult process. I'd rather just like make a video about it and show everybody what it is, because I would never, for example, like I have this idea, I do have this idea for what I think would be a really big training aid. But I don't want to get a lawyer and do the patent stuff. So I think the only thing that I would actually do is just try to, like, if you watch Shark Tank, just try to have that advantage of like being first to the market with it. And then also being like the trusted voice with it, and then have the videos that go along with it and everything. For example, like there's that Australian guy that invented the, it's the swing guide, the swing guide that is really big on tour. That guy, and his son is on the tour. I forget the guy's name. He invented that thing. But when he had a good run with it for a while, because he was the first mover on it. But it's like, it's probably protectable too. But you can get it literally for $2 on Amazon now.
You just got to get it out there and try to get the smash and grab job, because you're not going to get any protection rights in China. They're just manufactured anyway, and then you're kind of SOL, right?
You're right. So people are saying like, oh, Brendan, you got to be careful. You shouldn't be showing this. People are going to steal. I'm like, they're going to steal it anyway. Don't care. And this gets back to instruction a little bit, because when I would first approach a teacher that I liked to come on the channel, and this is kind of like a 1980s vibe, they would say like, oh, I don't know if I really want to show all my stuff like publicly. I don't know. But think about like the famous teachers. None of them are holding anything back, really. They're showing you what it is, because people will always want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Like, for example, like if you have this teacher and he teaches, that's his thing that he teaches, right? And you go to him and you, it's never, no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how much you study what that teacher does, it's not really going to be able, for most people, it's not really going to click till you see them in person anyway. So that's why I say, like, don't try to like protect anything. Like, don't try to say like, oh, this is a secret. It's like, I think Mac O'Grady, like I talked to Mac at the Long Beach Open because he was like playing in it. This is like 5 years ago. And I talked to Mac, and I came up to him because I was just starting my channel and said, hey, I'd love to interview you, get you on the channel. You're like a real well-known voice and instruction, obviously. I'd love to interview you. He goes like, I do no media, nothing. But then after that, like, he was like real intense. Like, I will never do any interviews. Like, he hates the idea of that. But then like he talked to me for like about an hour at El Dorado here in Long Beach, just about different theories about the golf swing. And I was able to ask him some things about what he likes in transition and what he doesn't. But I'm like, here's a guy that really honestly believes in his heart that he has the secret to how to make golfers better. But he's like keeping it contained somehow, or like making it like privileged knowledge, and maybe embittered about people who are misinterpreting what he put out there and then using that to build a career. But I'm like, if you really think you could help golf, like, go out there and help golf, because people are struggling. People would love to get better. You can't really have your cake and eat it too. You can't, one, think, that golf should be better, and two, think that you have the answer for people. And anyway, so, but not just him. A lot of teachers think like, oh, I don't want to give away like all my secrets. It doesn't matter. Golf instruction will always be a personal one-on-one thing. Be like all the tech and everything else, like you need a person to do it, because all the data, like I could sit a normal golfer in a room with a swing catalyst, a TrackMan, a Foresight at the same time, the hack motion and gears. I mean, that's not going to be any better of a range session than if they just went and hit balls and just saw what the ball was doing. You need the person to be able to interpret it. And then the thing that, this is where the magic of golf instruction is feeling real. So you have a guy telling you to do something that is totally wrong. Like, okay, me going like this and going like that, there's no good golfers that do that. Why are you telling me to do this? It's because maybe you do this, and we're just trying to get you there. So the balance of feeling real is really where the magic happens in a golf lesson. But the student, though, has to have enough knowledge to know, hey, I'm telling you to do this because you do this. And that's the great thing about technology. Hey, your shoulder plane is going from 30 to 90. So you need so now I want you to take that shoulder plane and go from 30 to 0 and see what happens. And they'll actually go from 30 to 29. That's the really good thing that you can show about golf instruction. The golf teachers, they know from their eye what they can do. But people, even if they're going to like a high dollar instructor, they always have that like little bit of doubt in their mind, and this doubt even carries across technology, because they'll think, that's probably, that capture isn't right. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, that video is the wrong angle. But that feel and real balance is really how a teacher and student can make huge gains. But you got to let the student know where real ends and where it's just feel. Because if somebody will, because if feeling this a little bit is making me like 2 strokes better, then feeling that is going to make me like a tour player, because everybody wants to get like way better, and then before they know it, instead of just taking 1 aspirin, they've taken the entire bottle and they've OD'd. So that's I think the best thing, where you can match feel and real.
That's a little bit like the Alex Noren drill, right? When he kind of does this and then kind of swings over it. I've seen Tiger also do some kind of things like that on some some TV.
Tiger in the Sean Foley days, like he didn't. So the reason he left Hank Haney is reportedly was like, he kept yelling, "Oh, I'm so stuck out at Augusta one year," and then I think he texted Hank and it was over. So to feel, so for Tiger, who has made millions of golf swings, that is so grooved that he has to feel a mile to move an inch.